the viewer by saying, if you believe this, then you are part of the problem, or if you believe this, you're part of the solution, because the people who are controlling the situation know that once the solution is in place, you're actually not part of the solution either anymore. You're part of getting to the solution, but you will be walked over in order to achieve the solution. And we are up to 84% full on canola again. So I'm probably going to get one truck at this down to the sell point, and we're going to have to do it all again. Tip side, that's the one. You back. Turn off the help. That'll get the tipping tipper faster. Okay. I'm going to have to dive over to the harvester is full again. I will get down to the BGA place and start tipping this. We'll get the harvester unloaded again, I hope. Maybe it's facing the wrong way this time. That would be a bit sad. Now, one of the reasons I turned that field into an arable field is it did have a very good soil composition, so it was better suited to arable crops and income than it was to grass. However, now that we've got over 100 cows, we need the grass, and so I'm going to convert it back to grass. But it should give us a good yield. One, because I think it's bigger than the grass field we currently own, and two, it's definitely got better soil, so should give us a better yield of grass. Okay, let me jump over here and unload that. So, how is... This is going to be up to 50,000. Probably going to have to make another run tonight, but for right now, I need to make a run in... I went the wrong way. This then. Oops. And the harvester is indeed facing the wrong way. So we will slip this in behind here. That's probably good enough. We'll need to turn the worker off and back this out of the way. So, gonna run this empty, and then we will, I want to check this again. So, we did that field was 98, this field directly across from there, only 70. We did not do something last year. Oh, that's... Could have sworn we did that. Nitrogen, that's missing... Nitrogen? I did not put enough nitrogen in that field. That's weird. I mean, that looks like it has more nitrogen than this one does. I don't know. So this field needs some fertilizer. This feed is going to need some fertilizer. So we'll be running probably the manure truck over both of these fields later on. This one, don't need that much in there. Since this is going to be planted grass, I will be running around this with the seeder, fill it with grass, and then probably spray both these fields at the same time. Probably should check pH. We may need to lime this field again, although I might not. One of the things about that is if I don't lime this field, we'll get probably one cut of grass from here before the end of the year, and then I'll lime both of them for Christmas.
It was one.
Okay then. And there it goes. What do you think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay,
12,
he's doing his
13,
thing.
14,
I
15,
can
16,
move that out of the... Actually, you know what?
18,
We
19,
need to move
20.
this way out of the way, like empty it.
24, 25. What's 25?
Jump in the cab. So yeah, as I said, there was a patch this week, so resolving graphics as you change views can be a little delayed. Oh crap. Well, that was less than ideal. Okay, I managed to do it without assistance. That might be a barley field over there as well. I planted a lot of barley this year, but we do have some oats, which I do need to cut and get down. I think the priority, once we got all the canola done, especially this canola field, I want to replant that with grass. But all the canola fields done, I think I want to do the oats so that we can get the grain mill and the bakery started. I'm fairly certain I will not have enough grain this year to run the bakery for a full year. So again, the bakery might end up completely done. Okay, should be able to tip that there, or not. And go get this. Then I can I'll follow these two tractors back to the other yard. We'll get the fence back on the field with the harvester, which is already almost half full. The nice thing about having production, see, the thing with productions is it takes time to process the grain into a thing, but typically the thing you're producing maxes out price in the same month that the grain does. So if you produce, say, oats, and we're going to harvest them in July, I can't really sell them for best price until December or January. However, I can take the oats to a flour mill, and the flour mill is also not going to be at best price until December or January. And that's a fairly consistent thing with all of the processes. So I can either store the grains on my farm for 6 months, or I can store the grain at the flour mill and get it processed, and it might take up to 6 months to process it all, but then I can take all of it to the place it needs to get dropped off and, make the best money I can, and I'll make more money because I turned it from from grain into flour. So you can actually I wouldn't dispense with having silos on the farm, because like in this case, it's kind of convenient to be able to drop the grain off while the harvest is happening. Once the harvest is finished, I can then consider transporting the grains at more of a leisurely pace. I'm not rushing to I've got to race halfway across the map to drop the grain off so that I can get back to the field and empty the harvester. We're coming back to the harvester. The harvester is at almost 90% full, and it hasn't stopped moving. It has stopped moving because I wasn't paying attention earlier, but it hasn't stopped moving. We're back at the field, we're unloading the harvester. The harvester can just continue harvesting, which is a good thing. Whereas, if I was running down to the grain mill, the harvester would stop for 5 minutes while I'm making my way back, because I can't do that trip in the time it takes for the harvester to fill up. So having at least a one silo on the farm makes sense, even if you're sending everything you've got down to a production that you own. Just do it. If you don't have the productions, then you need more silos on the farm to store things. Same with sugar beets, obviously, and potatoes. I can't store sugar beets and potatoes in a silo. So what do? I'm just going to have to take them down to the sugar mill. Unfortunately, there isn't a potato chip factory in game, because that would be really neat. I can deliver the potatoes to the potato chip factory, and they can store there forever until I'm ready to sell them. Probably need canola oil or something like that to actually produce the potato chips. But that's the thing with sugar beets. I can take the sugar beets to the sugar mill and turn them into sugar, and I don't have to. Okay, you're good. We'll leave you there. I don't have to have a sugar beet storage on the farm. And you remember back in Farm Sim 17 and 19, what grief we had trying to store 1.5 million litres of sugar beets somewhere on the farm. That's not a trouble when you own a sugar mill, or at least as much of a trouble. I don't know how big the sugar mill's production supply is, so maybe you do need. I'm thinking I should probably put slurry in this before I drive down to the BGA. Just a thought there. But yeah, given a sugar mill, yeah, I can harvest sugar beets and take them to the sugar mill. The only downside of that is obviously sugar beets are a pain in the butt to transport anywhere because they are so what's it? The yield in litres is so high, the value in litres is so low. But really, we're talking about the yield in litres. The reason why sugar beets are such a lucrative crop to grow is because the amount of work we have to do, emptying the harvester, transporting the sugar beets somewhere, storing them for a while, it's painful. But it is what it is. Okay, the time is 11:30. With any luck, harvester is still 40%. So I've probably got enough time to run the slurry down here once, and then we have to deal with the harvester again, which will fill up the grain tank. Or it might reach the end of the field, who knows. I will probably need to check on the environmental score again for this field. But as you can see, as we harvest each field, the nitrogen and lime percentages are, or in fact scores are updated, so that when we sell this year we get the benefit of what we did during the year. I haven't looked at this one yet. Where's my harvester gone? Oh, I'm looking at pH. I need to look at soil types too. This scores 100, so yay for that one. That scores 97. That's also good. Well, the class Trion is still reading a worker, so it's obviously doing something useful. It hasn't come back and said I am full yet. Okay, we need to race this back to the yard, fill this up again. So we're going to need to take about 3 or 4 tanks down there. As one of the problem, I can now actually sell the BGA that I have and put in the industrial BGA. I would lose all of the manure and digestate and slurry that's in there, which is kind of that's a bit sad. But I think if I sold that one, we're pretty much on the verge of being able to afford the industrial one. The problem with the industrial one is, as I said, 500,000 litres of slurry and digestate. It's going to take me a few trips to get the stuff down there. And I don't know how fast its production rate is, so it may be that I take all the stuff down there and it processes them in 12 hours again. R to fill. And we should go find the Fent. Hello Fent, where are you? Should have gone backwards. Harvester's pretty much on the last row here. And he's full. Oh, that's a bit sad. It has a strip of canola along the edge there. which I will need to kill if I'm going to end. I'll just do it. It's like so little canola destroyed with that might as well just drive over. And it wasn't the tractor that was doing the damage. Put that there. Turn the engine off that. I'm going to turn the engine off that. Going to turn the worker off that, and basically I'm just going to tidy up the rest of the field, because there's the chunks in the headland, there's the strip along the edge here, and we are done. So just going to run down here, we'll finish this off. Oops, we'll come back and get that bit. And then, I think that's all the canola. I could do a check. I think about 11:45, I need to call this no matter where we are. And I think I'm going to take a very quick shower. And we'll be going out. Hello.
I can't open the door.
Why not? You open the door. Alright. So next episode we will be looking at a continuation of this harvest. We've done the canola, so we'll be moving on. As I said, probably be moving on to the other stuff. What's the other stuff we have to do? We have to do, as I said, we need to do the oats next priority. We need to do the barley, but as I said, we're going to whole crop silage that. I don't need whole crop silage to feed the cows until we just don't have the grass available, and potentially we run out of grass silage in the barn, in the silage, in the bale storage shed. So the plan is we'll try and retain as much of that as possible, but once that's all gone, we're going to need to generate food for the cows. One of the options is to use a hay, straw, mineral feed mix from the robot. The robot can't keep up with, even 100 cows. So that is what it is, but we'll see what we can get done. So with slurry, I mean, I could put manure on this field, but grass really does, 40 kilograms per hectare. It doesn't need a lot of silage, or a lot of manure, nitrogen. So really, I do not need to bring manure on here. It's just as easy to grab the sprayer and just run out and spray the field as and when it's needed. I could do the Tom Pemberton thing, although for that I need the agitator on the manure tank, or slurry tank, so that it mixes it and creates a good slurry application. We have the sorghum in the next field over. The other thing I could look at, we got 216,000. I could look at buying a field that is not ripe yet, which would give me the opportunity to, at the very least, spray the crops in that field and get the at least that segment of the environmental score up. Okay, I think looking at this harvester right now, what I should consider doing is I'm going to drop the header off over in the corner there. Oops. We'll get it emptied, so we need to bring the fence down. We'll get it emptied. I'll drop the header off at the entrance to this other field. We'll go and get this thing serviced because it's now below best or ideal maintenance levels. Other way. So I've got 22,000 litres of canola here. Problem is I might need to take this trailer off and empty it and then come back to completely empty the harvester. Yeah, very close. 24,000. We have 317 in the harvester tank. So, actually, let's keep that moving. So, how much canola do we make? We have 68 plus 24, 66, 80, 92,000, 93,000 litres of canola from this year. Do we have any more canola fields? No, that's all of the canola for this year. We do have barley here, barley here, barley here, oats here and here. That probably means I can do the headlands here. If we run around, do the headlands in 50 and 49, we'll then transfer back to the arable farm, and I will fully harvest 57 and 54. We'll headland 58, we'll headland 60, and then we'll do the whole crop silage on those fields later. Maybe do the similar sort of thing with 64 as well, but at the moment 64 is not ready to harvest. 64 is a long way from being ready to harvest. We've got, all the other fields ready to harvest. And I do need to mulch these as well. So that's what we'll be looking at next week, but right now I need to be out of here. So everybody, thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and I will be back next week with a little bit more harvesting. Maybe less bales in evident. But for right now, I gotta go. So have fun everybody, I'm out of here.